Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Tyler, and today I wanted to bring you a video entitled The INTP Insecurity, Dealing with the FE Inferior. So out of all the cognitive functions that the INTP has to deal with, I would say the FE Inferior is by far the most responsible for holding us back. So I do think this is an important topic, and I think if you apply some of the things that I'll go over in this video, you will really feel better about yourself, and you'll really feel more respect for yourself deep down. So today I'm going to go over what FE is exactly, what the FE inferior does to the INTP, and like I said, I'll talk about ways you can improve this and ways to make this so this is not a detriment to your life. So it may be hard to believe this, but as INTPs, we are actually very blessed. And that is because we have TI Hero. TI Hero is all about solving the most complex problems in the most logical way possible. Any problem that needs fixing, that requires deep thinking, deep logical thinking, nobody is going to be on the INTP's level when it comes to doing this. So in this case, what we can do is see our cognitive function stack and say FE is our inferior function. This is something that we need to work on. This is a weak point for us. And we need to work a little bit every day to make this a strong point. The INTP has a cognitive function stack and can cause us many problems in life. It's not an easy stack to deal with. I talked about in my other videos, SI child can make us want to be very comfy, not get out of our comfort zone, not do the things we really want to do because we just would rather be comfy. I talked about NI critic, how it makes us very critical of our own intentions. The things that we want out of life, we feel bad if we even go for it. Also, SE trickster, I talked about INTPs are not very in the moment. They're not in your face. We don't even consider that the dominant personality type may actually win over the day because they just have the confidence. They're so in the moment that they can win people over. So if you are interested in any of those topics, you can check out my other videos on my channel page. So like I've been saying, what the INTP can fail to realize, though, is that through our thinking, through our strong points, in this case, TI Hero, NE Parent, we can work on these weaknesses in ourselves. We can realize why these are weak points for us, and we can figure out what to do to either reject these cognitive functions or to make them better. Growing up, I always felt like something was mentally wrong with me because I was so smart, I was doing so well in school. But when it came to social situations, when it came to talking to people, I felt like I was terrible at it. I would watch these people just talk and talk, do the small talk thing, and just do it for hours sometimes. And I would just be like, how are they doing that? I cannot even think about doing something like that because I'm just bad at it. But after getting into MBTI, I can realize that no, it's not a mental problem with me. It's just the way I'm built. I have TI Hero, so logical things are going to come very easy to me, but I have FE inferior, so I'm just not very good socially. But as INTPs, we don't have to accept this. We can figure out the complex solution to figure out how to deal with this, how to work on this a little bit every day to make it not as weak, to even make it a strong point. So as you can see, this can effectively give us a way to hack our own lives so that we don't have to accept these flaws in ourselves. We can use our strong points to fix our weaknesses. And again, this is why we are very lucky that we're able to do this. Other MBTI types will just see what their type is. They'll say, yep, that really sounds like me. But they won't even think about, well, having all this information, what can I do with it? They just accept it for what it is, and INTPs many times just accept it for what it is, but that's not the case. So I would just implore you today to use this gift you've been giving, the TI Hero, the NE Parent, to figure out the complex problems of your life, figure out how to solve them, and then apply those solutions so your life is just overall better. Okay, with all that being said, I will now quickly go over the INTP cognitive function stack. For the purposes of this video, I only put the first four. So TI Hero, this is, we already talked about this quite a bit. This is logical thinking. This is solving the most complex problems. Again, nobody is on our level when it comes to doing this. No one can touch our logic. NE Parent, this is all about different possibilities, different ways of doing things, metaphysics. And this is another reason why we are so good at problem solving, is because we can look at all the different possibilities, look at all the ways of solving a problem, and come up with the best solution. SI child, we really like to be comfy, we have decent memories, we really like to take in good experiences. And then FE inferior, this is what we're going to talk about on the later slides here. Okay, so FE, extroverted feeling. This is the INTP's inferior function. So what is FE exactly? The main goal for FE is going to be cultivating interpersonal harmony among people. So FE is going to be able to look at a person's body language, look to see how they're standing there, and really be able to understand how that person is feeling. Are they feeling happy? Are they sad? Are they dealing with something hard going on in their lives? FE is in tune and aware of other people's emotions. Especially FE dominant people, this is going to come as second nature to them. They're going to be able to see that person's body language and know exactly how they're feeling. The FE dominant person can also really feel themselves, how that person is feeling, get themselves on an emotional level with that person and help them deal with that. They're going to see, well, this person just said something to this person, and now that person is sad or acting like they're not having a good time now. The FE dominant person is not going to like that. They're going to want to go to that person and figure out what just happened, why they're feeling like that now. They're going to want to help that person and see if that other person is causing disharmony among the group, and then they may even go to that person and be like, what's going on with you? Why are you making other people feel bad? Because of these reasons, FE dominants are very good with people. It's almost scary how good they are. I work with an ESFJ, which is an FE dominant, in a business dealing with the public. I cannot tell you how many people come in, know that person by name, make a point to talk to them because people just feel so comfortable when dealing with her. I've had people say to me that the only reason they come into our business is because they want to talk to her. They want to feel like someone cares about their problems and is helping them out. A lot of these people we deal with don't really have many other people in their lives, and they look at this ESFJ and they say, this person's here for me. They're willing to listen to my problems and really help me through those. I even feel it myself sometimes, wanting to tell this person all of my emotional problems, wanting them to help me out with it because they're just so good at it. And as INTPs, we can really look and see, this isn't very high on our stack. We're not really that great with this. We're pretty good at knowing what emotions the other person is feeling, but we will many times have no idea what to do about it, how to help them. Just as logical thinking comes second nature to us, dealing with people's emotions comes second nature to these people. And again, these people just give off a sense of warmth and comfort because in that moment when these people come in and talk to this ESFJ, they feel like this person really understands me. They know what I'm going through and they're there for me. You can see why this would make them very good with people because people just want this feeling all the time. We live in a world that's evil. We live in a world that's dangerous. And if you can just have a moment with someone that you really feel like you can talk to them without judgment. FE dominants not only don't care about helping people deal with these things, they want to help people deal with these things. Nothing gives them more joy than helping that person with their emotions, helping them feel a little bit better about themselves, help them feel a bit better about their day. So it's nice to work with this ESFJ coworker because if there is conflict, I really turn to her to help talk to the person and explain why the situation is like this, and many times she's very good at calming them down. Another FE dominant, ENFJ. I have a friend that is an ENFJ, and I really get the sense that she cares more about other people's emotions than she does her own emotions. And this person has actually told me that many times they don't have good days at work. They don't feel themselves like they're having a good experience, but they never let that show. They feel like it is their duty to be there for people, to help people with these emotions. And honestly, if you look at the whole scope of MBTI, this is really what they're built for, is to help the group have social harmony. Because as INTPs, you have to realize there's thinking people and there's feeling people. It's about 50-50. Just because you don't think it matters when dealing with a problem, how other people are going to feel about it, that does not mean that it's not very important. We're only going to see the logical way to solve a problem, and any kind of emotion that gets thrown in there is just going to complicate things. It doesn't matter. As long as I have the right answer, that's all that matters. That's not always necessarily true. INTPs can many times feel like people come to us for advice and we give them advice, and they almost just blow it off. They don't even really care about our advice, because many times they were just looking for that emotional connection, saying, I understand that you feel this problem is really hurting your life. I understand why your feelings are hurt, but we're not going to do that. We're going to be like, well, this is the logical solution to your problem. And they're just going to kind of look at us and be like, seriously? No, that's not always the case, especially with high TE users, and that's a topic for another video. But again, people will say that no one understands them better than an FE dominant. They would almost rather go to this person than go to their loved one, because the loved one doesn't provide that feeling that they need in a conversation, that emotional intelligence that they're looking for. And that's really what FE is all about: understanding emotions, helping people with their emotions, helping everybody in the group have social harmony between themselves. And it's honestly pretty amazing to watch when you watch FE dominants do these things. Now, I'm not saying they will do this, but they are so good with people that if there are bad intentions, they could actually use this to manipulate people. Especially when it comes to ESFJs, you do not want to get into a very bad conflict with an ESFJ, because they will just ruin your social life. When they talk to people, they're going to get on their level emotionally. They're going to have a connection with that person, and then they're going to say, well, this person is wrong for this reason, this person is wrong for this reason, and they're going to convince that person easily that they are right and that you are a bad person. And you may come back saying, well, the reason why they're wrong is because of XYZ. That person's not going to care. They're going to care more about that person connecting with them, and they're really going to feel like that person is right. So you really want to be careful crossing these FE dominants, because especially in your work situation, they can really make people around you hate you, and they're going to have no problem of doing that. So just kind of keep that in the back of your mind. But again, just to give an overview, FE, all about other people's feelings, all about making people feel better, and they are very good at that. Okay, so the INTP and FE inferior. This is the worry for the INTP. This is our insecurity. We are insecure about our FE abilities. This isn't the same as our blind spot, which we just lack and we never think about. We think a lot about this FE inferior and what it does to our lives. We say to ourselves, well, if I could just get over the social awkwardness, if I could just be better with people to feel their emotions and be there for them, my life would be so much better. And in many ways, that's true. The INTP is not a robot. I know that's kind of the joke, that INTPs are robots, they don't have feelings, but that's far from the truth. We do have feelings. Sadly, our feelings can get easily hurt, probably easier than it really should be, and we know this about ourselves. So this may be a tough slide for INTPs, because it's really going to hit home. I know it hits home with me. Before I made all these positive changes in my life, which I described in my videos, I felt so isolated, I felt so awkward about my social interactions, and it just really held me back. So like I said, this may be a tough slide, but it's good to know. It's good to realize that this is your inferior function, that this is your insecurity. So you can start today by working on it and making it better. Because in MBTI, really the goal is to get over this insecurity. Once you get over your inferior function, you can really start doing the things you want to do, and you can start living the life you want to live. So we'll get into this a little bit. Okay, so FE is not our worst function. That's just our fourth function, our inferior function. So we can be aware of how others are feeling emotionally, but we have no idea how to help them. So this is our friend telling us that they just got a divorce with their loved one, and their life is so hard now, they don't know what to do. And we just kind of stand there saying, oh, I'm so sorry, but feeling like we are not helping them in the least bit. These kind of situations can really make an INTP nervous. They can feel out of place when things like this come up. And we kind of hate this about ourselves, that we can't help these people more in these certain situations. But you just kind of have to realize that this is not going to be a strong suit of yours. I'm going to get into on the next slide how to improve your FE, how to make people like you a little bit more, but I don't really have much to say when it comes to helping people emotionally. All of the thinking in the world will not be able to solve this problem for us. So I would just say, if you get into a situation like this where one of your friends or family is going through an emotionally hard time, just be there for them, say I'm sorry, give them a big hug. Just because you don't excel at doing this does not mean you can't at least try. The person may say, well, at least they're there for me, they didn't really help me with my emotions, but they gave me a big hug, they made me feel better, and they can really appreciate that. So like I already said, this can make us feel awkward in these emotionally charged situations where logic is no longer the most important thing. In our mind, sometimes it's more about what the logical thing is. Well, you divorce your husband, well, you better hire the best attorney. That's not what people want to hear. They want to hear, I'm sorry. They want to hear, I know what you're going through. I've done this before myself. Although logic will always win the day in our minds, it's not going to always win the day in society. So you just really need to be aware that this is not a strong suit of yours, but you can still try. You can still be there for the person, because many times that's all that matters. And this is the big thing with INTPs. We can feel like we are not good with people socially. This is how I have felt my entire life. I felt like I had a lot to offer people, but I just could not get into good conversations with them. I couldn't connect with them easily. But because of this lack of emotional connection, we are just afraid that others do not like us. It's almost like a horror movie where you're trapped in your body. You want to do better. You want to have better social interactions, but you just cannot do it. The words just do not come to your mouth. And I know a lot of INTPs, and I actually have done this quite a bit in my life. I'll just get to the point where I say, I don't care about anybody. I don't care. I'm here for myself. I don't care if others don't like me. It is what it is. But I really think that's just a defense mechanism for INTPs, because this really hurts our feelings and it really does us a lot of harm. Just because we are probably the most introverted type out of all the MBTI types, it does not mean we don't want friends, we don't want connections. It does not mean that we want to stay home all the time. We want to get out there, we want to have a good time with other people, we want to go to the bars, drink, have that night you can't ever talk about. But because of this FE inferior, we can have a lot of trouble with this. We can have a lot of trouble making friends, keeping friends. And that's probably another reason why INTPs are so loyal, is because once we find a true friend that we feel like truly understands us, then we don't want to let them go. But again, the point of this whole video is you do not have to accept this. Just because this is your MBTI cognitive function stack, it does not mean that you have to accept this for what it is. You can make changes to yourself. You can become more socially adept. And we can talk about some of these things on the next slide, but it's really just going to come down to, you have to quit being so afraid of being confident and letting people know how you really feel. INTPs can get stuck in this FE horror nightmare where they're always trying to connect with people, and they don't want to let their feelings out or their thoughts out because they're afraid that, well, if I say this thing, these people may not like me. They may not think I'm cool or whatever. But you kind of almost have to ask yourself, and I know this is kind of sad, but how much worse can it really get? If you do become more confident, if you do become more talkative and let your feelings be known, is it really going to get worse for you socially? Does that really make a lot of sense? The INTP, and I did this all the time back before I made these changes, I would ask pretty much everybody, how was your weekend? On Monday, I'd be like, how was your weekend? Did you do anything fun? And they would say, yes, no, I did this, I did this. But not a single person would ever ask me how my weekend was. And that would just kill me, because I was trying to be this nice person, trying to show that I cared about them, cared about what they were doing, and they just could not pay the same courtesy to me. But what you have to realize as an INTP is you're doing the wrong thing, you're going about it the wrong way. And that leads me to my next point here. But because of our lack of social skills, because of our fear that we are not doing well socially, we can try to overcompensate for this by being overly nice, which can make people like us even less. I cannot drive this point home enough. People do not like nice people. And this whole logical conclusion in your head that, well, if I'm nice to them, they're going to be nice to me, that is totally not true. And even if they are nice to you to your face, they're probably talking about you behind your back, saying how weird you make them feel. Now, people that are good at being nice, such as these FE dominants that we talked about, that can get on people's level emotionally and can give them some comfort, those nice people do work. But the kind of nice that we give off, it does not work. I would go so far to say that the more nice we are to people, the less they're going to like us. And like I said, we can get into this FE nightmare where we're trying to connect with people, we're trying to get people to like us, and in turn, doing that is making people not like us. You can say, well, I don't care if these people like me, it's their loss, and while that is true, and I'll make that point on the next slide, you have to get to a point where you truly don't care, not just where it's a defense mechanism. You have to say the things that aren't nice. You have to bring your amazing ideas to the conversation. You have to strike down that person that is trying to make a logical conclusion that makes no sense. And once you start making these changes, once you start doing the things I'm going to talk about on the next slide, you're going to find that more people like you and you're going to get a lot more respect. And then when you get to that point where you're having a lot of people that you feel have your best interest in mind, you're really not going to care about that 1 out of 15 people that don't like you. Right now you may be at a point where only 1 out of 15 people actually do like you. But like I've said throughout this video, you can hack your life, you can make changes, you can make yourself better. And just because we have this flaw in our life does not mean we have to let it roll over us. Probably the biggest fear that an INTP has is that we have a really good job opportunity or we have a really good business opportunity and we go in for an interview, and on paper we have the best skills. On paper it's a no-brainer that we're the best qualified, but the next person comes in and really wins them over with their talking. So just because we're the best qualified for the job, we get picked over somebody because they just like them better. So you need to work on this fear. You need to make this something that does not happen, because once you start doing some of these things, you're going to find that maybe you will get the job because people just like you better and like your ideas and the way you go about things. Alright, that brings me to my final topic of the day, ways to improve your FE inferior. So this is going to be ways you can improve socially, how you can get people to like you more. This isn't going to really touch on helping people with their emotions, because honestly I couldn't think of anything. That's just kind of a thing we have to deal with. If you do have a way for INTPs to help people with their emotions better, please leave it below because I would love to hear it. So here we go. Can't stress this enough, guys. Confidence really is the key. People honestly don't care what you say. You could say the dumbest thing you've ever said in your life. If you say it in a confident manner, they're going to listen to you and they're going to like what they're hearing. But this isn't just about saying things confidently. It's just being confident in yourself, being very sure of yourself. People want to go with people that are sure of themselves, because if you don't believe in yourself, how can you expect anyone else to believe in you? You're saying like me, but you don't even really like yourself. You're not confident enough to stand there, say what you're going to say, and not care what anybody else thinks. And this is not going to happen overnight. You might get a rush of adrenaline and say, starting tomorrow, I'm going to be more confident, but that's not how it works. You need to start working on things that will make you more confident, and I plan on making a video about this, but working out every day, working on that project that you really care about, it's really your goal, showing up to the party that you got invited to, even though you have nobody to go with and you don't really know anybody there, just still going, show everybody that I'm confident. I don't care if there's nobody here I really know. I'm going to go and I'm going to try to have a good time. And then when you get home from that party, you're going to feel so confident in yourself because you did that for yourself. Before, you would never even think about going to a party where you wouldn't know anybody, but you just stepped out of your comfort zone and did it. This is working very hard at your job so you work yourself up the corporate ladder and make more money for yourself, have more money stashed in the bank. But honestly, you don't even really need these things to be confident in yourself. It's just helpful. So what you need to do every day is wake up and say, how am I going to improve my confidence today? What am I going to do to get to this point where I'm confident all the time? And if you watch my first video, just being an INTP should make you confident. You're going to be able to solve complex problems like nobody else. You're going to bring so much to the table in terms of your thinking. Just because people can do the small talk better than you, that doesn't mean that they bring more to the table. You are going to bring the big ideas that blows everybody's mind, and they're going to be like, wow, he is really smart. But this can get hindered by your FE inferior. You feel cautious about really coming off as confident because you feel like the things you are going to say may not make people like you. But you have to fight this feeling. You have to get more confidence in yourselves, and that's really going to be the foundation for changing your life overall. This is a big point here. If you're going to take any point out of this whole video, it's this. Quit putting so much pressure on social situations. Quit trying to come up with the perfect thing to say that will make everybody laugh. Quit feeling like it's going to be the end of the world if you don't have a social connection with somebody. As INTPs, we know that having this FE inferior really puts a lot of pressure on these social situations because we just want that person to like us. But like I said, the more you try to get people to like you, the less they're going to like you. And the whole social thing, guys, it's really easy. People hate the day-to-day boring conversations. People love to laugh. People love to joke around. So just do this. Just joke around. Tease people. Be witty. When I used to go into work, I would just be quiet most of the day. I wouldn't really say hardly anything. But now I'm all the time joking with people. We're all laughing. There's this sense that everybody's just having a good time. And it's because I just quit putting so much pressure on myself and I'm just kind of joking around all day. This grand theory in your mind that you have to have this to be socially well off. You have to say the exact right thing to get people to like you. It's just not true. Just really go into a social situation and say, how can I make this person laugh? If you can get people laughing around you, they're going to want to be around you more. They're going to love your sense of humor. And this really goes for dating situations too. If you're trying to get a date, quit walking up to the man or woman, standing up straight, having the perfect pickup line that you've gone over for 3 weeks. Just joke around, guys. It's not that hard. You will not believe how easy social situations become when you joke around. INTPs have a very dry sense of humor. We say a lot of awkward things, and if you can do these things in a funny manner, people are going to love you. They're going to say, wow, this person's really smart. They have the confidence to joke around all day. They don't take themselves that seriously. So I would just tell you, really try this. Try to make fun of the person that just said the slightly weird thing. When they make the funny noise, to add to their story, say, what was that again? And make them do it again, or just laugh about it. You're putting way too much pressure on yourself, and once you start doing these things and once you start realizing that this stuff works, that's going to build your confidence. You're going to be better with people overall. Also, do not be afraid to speak up concerning your opinion. If you have a well thought out point to make, do not be afraid of saying it, even if others are going to disagree. This could be politics. Say, I agree or I disagree with this political point, and when people come back with you with arguments of why you're wrong, why you don't make any sense, you're going to be able to come right back at them and say, well, your point doesn't make any sense. And you're going to pick apart their argument point by point. And don't be afraid to pick apart their argument point by point, because that's going to show them that this isn't a person to be messed around with. I've noticed on Facebook when I'm arguing with people, when other people that's on my side jump into the argument, what'll happen a lot of times is they'll respond to those other people. They'll just almost ignore my comment because there's nothing that they can logically say to best me. So really be confident in your thinking. Really give it to people if need be. It's going to come off as very confident. It's going to come off as, if I disagree with Tyler on something, I better really bring my facts because he's going to take me down. And that person's really going to respect you more for that. And I already touched on this. Quit being overly nice and a butt kisser. And guys, I'm not talking about the please, thank you, tipping your waiter, all that crap. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, oh, how was your weekend? Did you do anything fun? Wow, that sounds really interesting. Quit doing that sort of thing because, one, nobody cares. You honestly probably don't even care. And two, people hate butt kissers. Get out of this effing nightmare that you're in, trying to connect with people, trying to make people like you, because it just has the opposite effect. If you really want to know who the most successful person is when it comes to dating, when it comes to getting people on their side, it's SE dominants, it's ESTPs, it's ESFPs. These people are not nice. They're going to be in your face. And this is what really attracts people. You might think your logic is all sexy, but it's not. It's saying what you need to say, even at moments getting in people's face about it and not being nice. And I'm not saying be mean to people. I'm saying just don't be overly nice. Don't be a butt kisser, because if you do this, people just aren't going to like you. So ways you can improve this is just go out of your way to practice social skills every day. This is like a muscle. It has to be worked on every single day to get a little bit better. And when you work on this, you may feel a little drained the next day, but the next time you go out and do it, it's going to be easier and you're going to get a little less drained. Keep doing it a little bit every day. What you're going to find is social skills is just a learned practice, and it's not that hard. It's not as hard as you're making it out to be. And really the key, I think, again, is just making people laugh. Always having that little sly smile on your face when you look at somebody. And it's not only about making people laugh, it's having the confidence to at least try to make them laugh. If you tell a joke and it bombs, nobody laughs or chuckles whatsoever, just say something funny about that. Say, well, I'm never going to say that again. That didn't work. Make fun of your own awkwardness. Trust me, people already know you're awkward, that you come off as awkward, what you can do is just make fun of yourself for this, and that's really going to make people more comfortable with you, that you can look at yourself and say, yep, I'm pretty awkward. So this is going to the store instead of buying everything on Amazon. This is going to the mall and trying to hold eye contact with everybody you come across. This is standing in line at Subway and the person in front of you looks nice, so you try to say something to them, try to strike up a random conversation. If the conversation bombs, so what? At least you tried. You tried to improve your social skills today, and you should be proud for that. What you have to realize is failure is a stepping stone to success. If you don't have failures, you're never going to get what you want to get. In this case, what you want to get is better social skills, so you need to at least try. And if you fail, that's fine. If you do well, that's great. So just try to do this a little bit every day to improve yourself. And so we come to my final point here, and that is realize that if people do not like you, it is honestly their loss. And that is not the defense mechanism saying that. That is you truly deep down saying that. It's realizing your own worth as an INTP, what you bring to the table. Any person that you allow to come into your life to be your friend, you're going to do wonders for them. They're going to come to you with their logical problems, maybe not their feeling problems, and you, above any of their other friends, are going to come up with the best solution. So if you do these things, if you make yourself joke around, if you tease people, if you're witty, if you're confident in yourself, if you do all these things and people just still do not like you, that sucks for them. And I'm proud to say that I'm at a point in my life now where I feel so confident, I feel like I bring a lot to the table, so I honestly don't have a lot of these situations anymore where I feel awkward, where I'm afraid to go on the social gathering. And I hope you can use this video to really start getting you in the right direction. And like I said, it's not going to be an overnight change. This is going to be day after day after day, putting in the work. If you're not willing to put in the work, nothing's going to change. Everything's just going to stay the same. So in this case, as an INTP, say, I have FE inferior. I fear that people do not like me. I have a fear that I'm going to miss out on the fun thing that everybody's going out. But just realize you don't have to accept this about yourself. You can work on this, and if you truly want to change, you can and you will, and you'll get to that place where you want to be, somewhere down farther in this journey that we call life. Well, that's all I have for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was helpful. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe to the channel for more videos. I do have many different ideas. This will probably be the last video concerning a cognitive function, but I'm going to come out with more videos on ways INTPs can improve themselves, and I think they might be helpful. Besides my ideas, please comment below with any other videos you would like to see. You guys as INTPs have the best ideas, so I really appreciate you if you give me some of those ideas so I can have good topics to talk about in videos. Also, comment below, have you done something else to deal with your FE and fear that I did not mention in this video? Is there a way you dig yourself out of this FE horror show that you may be in? Just let me know in the comments. So, thank you guys again for watching, and have a great day.